And all right, well, welcome everybody to Agile Conversations. I'm Patty. I will introduce myself in just a moment, but I'm excited to be here. I'll share a few slides to talk to you a little bit about the mission of this group, and then we will get into our Agile conversation. Sarah,
Yes.
just give me a thumbs up. Okay. All right. All right. So like I said, welcome. This was, as of last time, 2 weeks ago, rebranded to focus on a new mission and theme here. So I've renamed it Agile Conversations with the help of the audience and the community. Our mission here is to share stories about overcoming Agile career obstacles and build a community of professionals to support others in beginning and remaining on their Agile journey. Because we are in this together, it is not easy, and we are here to support each other and learn from each other. So today, well, this year is Agile Conversations, formerly known as Scrum Power Hour, second birthday. So I started this meetup 2 years ago because I saw a need in the market. Again, it was originally for new Scrum Masters to come together and learn. But as this community has grown and evolved, we've pulled in people from all sorts of places in Agile organizations and started to learn from each other about what we do in these organizations and how we can best support each other on our Agile journeys. So today, as you might have seen my post or my newsletter yesterday, we are hitting records. So our LinkedIn group is at almost 2,400 members, which I can't believe. But I wanted to kind of ask and poll the audience, how many people do you think signed up for this tonight? Because this is also a record and I'm blown away by it. So go ahead and throw it in the chat and let me know what you think. Oh, Michael, I wish it were 750, and I will tell you we'll get there. Give us another year. We have a 230, 121, 200. Yeah, we're all kind of dancing around this 3-figure number here. So we've officially jumped to over 100 registrations. And we are at about 133. There's always those late ones that come in right at 5:30. But I'm super pumped because I remember the days 2 years ago when I would have like 1 or 2 people show up. And, you know, for anybody that's run meetings or groups or workshops before, you know that is kind of admittedly embarrassing because you feel like, you know, did I not do enough to bring people together? But the important point is that it takes time to build a community. It takes time for us to have conversations, to connect with each other and build a group of like-minded people. So I hope that we can continue to grow. That's my goal. But as you know, metrics are not always the measure of what we're doing here. The important thing is that we are moving the needle forward on Agile. So happy birthday to all of us. And if you're wondering, who am I? So my name is Patty. You probably all know this because you found me through LinkedIn, founder of Agile Mindset Consulting. My primary focus is Scrum Master career coaching because I feel like this is a fundamentally misunderstood role. But I have kind of expanded out to more Scrum and Agile training in companies as well. So like I mentioned, we are here Scrum focused, yes, but there are others at the table that need to be here. All right, so we're kind of in the welcome and introduction part. Our upcoming events, so in 2 weeks, this is a bi-weekly meetup on April 18th. Rinchin, you're here, so we saw you. Welcome. You're going to be speaking with us in 2 weeks. And May 2, Anu couldn't be here today, but she will be here speaking with us about her journey as well. So let's get to the main event here with Ify, a Scrum Master and Keynote speaker. And to kind of start us off, if you follow me on LinkedIn and you see some of my content, I posted this picture. I tried to turn it so it's a little bit more readable. But was anybody able to figure out what this says? And why in the world I would post this when it comes to becoming a Scrum Master? So go ahead and throw it in the chat if you were able to figure it out. Yes, Tom. Okay, so there's this old Japanese proverb that says, fall down 7, get up 8. And yes, I did agree with the poster in the comment section. It does have to do with iterative development, because becoming a Scrum Master, learning agility, any change in life involves a lot of falling down, but also getting back up. And that's why this community is so important. And that's what Ify and I are going to be talking about today. Going on this journey to become a Scrum Master, to become an Agilist, and how we often fall on our face, right? Because we put ourselves out there. But the idea is to find the courage and strength to stand back up again, regardless of what happens, and just know that the community's got us. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. We're going to get to our conversation. All right, Ify, are you ready?
Yes, Patty, I'm ready.
Yes. All right.
All right.
I'm super excited you're here. As everybody knows, I always start really generally with the same first couple of questions. So tell us your name, which we know, of course. Where are you located? And, what is your current role? What are you doing?
Right. Thank you, Patty. So yeah, my name is Ifeyani Imachukwu, or people call me Ify, and I currently live in Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm a Scrum Master right now for Lightstream, which is a division of Truist Bank. So right now I'm doing a lot of work around mobile and designs with my team, and just help them utilize and get up to speed every single day. So it's been great with this new team, this new company, and I just also want to say thank you, Patty, for this session. And I know like your growth has come like over time, but I'm real proud of you. And like Rome wasn't built in a day, so even having one follower or one person joining, there was a person back then that only had 12 followers, but it's sometimes about quality, not quantity. So I'm real proud.
Yeah. And I appreciate, you're like making me blush, but like that, I really appreciate you saying that, because, and we'll get into social media and social media growth and, your experiences as an influencer, because like you're a true influencer, right? People tell me I'm an influencer and I'm famous. Here's one right here. So we'll get to that in a moment. But again, I appreciate that, because it is about quality over quantity. And that's something that I learned teaching yoga many years ago, where sometimes I'd only have one person show up, and learning to make that not about me, but serving that one person in front of me in the best way possible because they showed up.
Exactly.
So, all right. Next question. And I forgot to ask this of Anthony last time, but I always want to ask, how do we know each other? Just give a little context here to the audience.
Yeah, so Patty it's crazy because I joined LinkedIn July last year, and I never really cared or like gave too much about LinkedIn in the past. I was usually more on Instagram or TikTok. So when I first got on LinkedIn, Patty was like one of those like OG, influencers or people that you like look to for guidance with Scrum, or just utilizing trying to get into that role. So she gave me a lot of inspiration when I first like got on LinkedIn, because I was looking for Scrum Masters or people in that space, and she helped me utilize the growth and made me really hone into really growing on LinkedIn. So she was part of my inspiration, and part of the reason why I'm where I'm at now with LinkedIn. So I give her a lot of credit with that, and she doesn't have to be modest about that either, because it's true. Yeah.
Thank you. And that's so interesting that you call me an OG, because there are people, right? When you meet somebody and you see them, especially if they have a lot of engagement, you assume they've been on LinkedIn forever. And I've only been on LinkedIn one more year than you, right? So when I look at OGs, I look at, and I could throw the names out, right? Like Martin, we all know Martin, but anyway, so I appreciate you saying that. And I started seeing, and like I said, I don't want to put the cart before the horse. We'll get into your social media content on LinkedIn, because that's one of the reasons why I reached out to you, because I was so impressed with your idea, your creativity, but also your mission,
Right.
because our missions are similar in the way that we want to support those new job seekers, because it's rough out there.
Yeah. Yeah, it
We've
is.
both been there.
Yeah, it is. And it's funny, like I never wanted to be famous or, have like the, clout or what they call it. I always wanted to just be effective. I feel like there's a difference between effective and famous sometimes. And, there's a lot of great people that aren't famous, and there are a lot of famous people that aren't great. So you want to be able to differentiate that and understanding really what your purpose is and what mission that you're going to carry out. And at the end of the day, it's about giving other people hope, having purpose with that hope, and making sure that you can capitalize and making sure other people can grasp and resonate towards your story, your background, your mission. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, speaking of that tattoo, let's talk a little bit about your Scrum Master journey. I
Right.
don't know if you have any tattoos. I have
Nah.
plenty, and you don't get to see them because like all you see is this, right?
Right.
But fall down 7, get up 8. And
Yeah.
when you started telling me a little bit about your story, I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. So why don't you start wherever you want to start?
Right.
But talk to us about your journey to become a Scrum Master, because I know it's been full of obstacles that you've overcome.
Yeah, absolutely. To even start, when I was a kid, life was, or it seemed so simple, wake up, go to school, brush my teeth, go to school, and then, come back, do homework, repeat. And as I got older, I realized that life got harder. And if I wasn't moving, life was going to keep moving regardless. So I had to find a way and a idea or something that really resonated towards me that I loved for me to be able to do for a long time. And I always say longevity is important rather than something that's quick, because you can find a job or something quick that can also be taken away quickly. So I never imagined myself being in corporate or this and that, because I always thought to myself, okay, I don't want to be that person that has a 9 to 5. But the way that I was able to get into this position was I found out about Scrum through one of my uncles, and one of my uncles actually, he was trying to help me in a situation when I didn't have anything. I was struggling financially at the time, overdraft fees. And by a show of hands real quick, I don't know if anyone's ever had overdraft fees before, but it's no joke. Yeah, it's no joke. It's no joke.
Been
And
there.
real quick, another thing, by a show of hands, how many of you guys, before you guys even got the Scrum Master certification, thought, okay, I'm going to get the Scrum Master certification and I'm going to get the Scrum job. It's not going to be as hard, or they didn't even think it was going to be, this tough to even find a position. Can I get a show of hands? Yeah. Yeah. So it's crazy now because the market is so saturated. But to continue what I was saying, yeah, I got into the Scrum space by really, I took the PSM and I took the product owner certification like in the span of 2 days. And I was just really focused, lasered in, because I told myself, this is something that I really enjoy doing. And when I found that, okay, you get to actually help people and they actually get to adhere to what you say, you can coach them, you can guide them. This is like the perfect job for me. And I also found out that I could do something remotely. So I could be in bed doing this. I didn't have to, really just like get up and go to work. So I focused on it. And then as far as like getting the position, at that time, it was really about who I knew at the time. And I was able to then just kill interviews. But as a Scrum Master, I realized that it's never about you. It's always about the team. I realized that you always have to put them first before you. You always have to think outside the box and also just be very empathetic. And if I paint you guys a picture real quick of what a Scrum Master is, just imagine, I think I told Patty this too, just imagine you're waking up on a cold, snowy day and you're about to get ready to go to work. It's snowing, you get in the car with your coffee, whatever that you're drinking, and you start to drive. You're driving and then you see a stoplight. When you get to that stoplight, you see a bunch of cars in front of you, but there's a bunch of snow just right next to the stoplight. You can't move. You see someone come from out of nowhere with a shovel and starts plowing the snow away. That person is the definition of a Scrum Master. Why? Because that person was able to take the problem away so that other cars or other people can keep moving. And they didn't even take credit for that. And I think a Scrum Master is someone that's able to take, or for someone to be able to not take credit for the work that they've been done. Scrum Master is someone that works in disguise from behind the scenes. And necessarily that's what I do on a daily basis with Scrum or just LinkedIn or anything in general. I also think that as a Scrum Master, you want to be able to ask yourself, okay, have I done everything necessary for my team, for the people around me to be successful? I think that makes leadership even better overall. You'll make yourself better, you'll make your team better, you'll make your company better overall. And if you feel like that's something that you guys can do or capitalize on, then Scrum Master is the perfect role for you. So that's what I found myself being able to do. And even with LinkedIn or social media, it was so easy for me to captivate or grow because essentially this is just who I am. I didn't have to wake up and put up a facade or a mask and say, oh, I got to pretend to be this person today. So it was necessarily just organic. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's sometimes really challenging not to do that. And
Yeah.
I think in society, we are often told, be unique, be yourself. But then from the other side of the mouth, it's fit in this box, do what I tell you to do. And I talk about this a lot, being a former teacher, and why I ultimately left, because I'm like, I can't put these kids in this box.
Right.
It's like an impossible task. We're unique human beings.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it took me a long time to quote unquote take that mask off of what I thought people expected me to be versus
Yeah.
who I truly was. Did you struggle with that at all?
Well, from the start, like when I had the interviews, I told myself from the start that I'm not going to try and put up a different type of persona for other people because when you start out, that's what they're going to expect. So if you're putting up a different persona or you're going 100%, they're going to expect that from the start. So I always tell myself, just be yourself. The right company will find you. If they don't hire you, then you could say it's their loss. But rejection always leads to redirection. So that's the mindset I always stuck by, and I think it's helped me like grow as a person, and it's helped other people around me grow as well. So it's amazing because LinkedIn, my job now, I actually got the job through LinkedIn, and it's been beautiful because now I tell myself like it's bigger than myself in terms of advocating for people in the job market, whether it's Scrum Masters or anyone in tech or just any job in general, because I feel like I got this job through other people. Like no one had to like actually like my post or comment or give engagement, but because they did, they're the ones that helped me get to the place that I am now. So every single day I wake up and tell myself, I'm gonna help people. I'm gonna advocate for these people because someone else helped me. So why not help other people as well?
Yeah, and I experienced the same thing. And one of the reasons that I started posting on LinkedIn is because I couldn't get any job interviews.
Mm.
And I had experience too. In addition to teaching, I had some other experience, but I also had some Scrum Master experience as a startup, and a lot of big companies were not taking me seriously. And you get all these nice, you don't have this experience or you don't have that experience, messages from recruiters. And I just got so mad. Like I hit the bottom and I said, I am going to go out and interview for the LinkedIn audience and someone's going to find me.
Yeah.
It took me like 4.5 months, right? But it takes time to build not a following, but for people to see you and see consistency and then start to resonate with your message.
Right.
And then people start reaching out to you and saying, hey, I have an opportunity for you, or hey, do you want to come speak at my group, or whatever the thing might be. And that's why I'm such a huge advocate for people posting on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And not getting frustrated with the expectations, easier said than done, right?
Yeah.
All the numbers and, the likes and all that stuff that messes with our heads. But we talked about this before. What do you think is stopping people? Like, you can say do it, I can say do it. What do
Mhm.
you think is stopping people from taking that opportunity to show who they are to this invisible audience?
Well, I mean, I know when I first got on LinkedIn, it was I was skeptical about doing it in the first place because I was timid, thinking to myself, you know, about companies seeing it and this and that, and being too of a voice, too much of a voice. But after I made the first post, I just said the heck with it, because at the end of the day, it's your story, and no one is going to go harder for you than yourself. So if you want to get that job or do something that you love, you have to go 110% for it, because no one's going to believe in you until you believe in yourself. So I took the initiative to post every single day, advocate for myself to get a job. And other people started to see that I'm advocating for myself, and then they, follow behind me. So I think it's just about telling your story. And if your story is something that you can say with a positive manner, I don't see why anyone would try and neglect that or, have anything harsh to say. Now, nowadays, everyone has an opinion, of course, but at the end of the day, you have your own voice, your own mission that you're going for. So just keep pushing. And once you make that first post, you'll see like it's not that bad. You know, people, they may have something to say, but honestly, it's okay.
Yeah. And it brought a lot of visibility to me, right? And a lot of people started reaching out to me. Um, Recruiters started reaching out to me, and to
Yeah,
your point, I found my job through LinkedIn. You found your job through LinkedIn.
right.
Um, and you just start to build this network of people that are supportive,
Yeah,
and we all help each other. So I can reach out to you and say, hey, do you have anything at your company? And you can kind of, help get me in front of the hiring manager. And I would do the same thing for you. It's because we know each other,
yeah,
right? I know who you are. I know what you stand for. I know what you've accomplished, and I can vouch for you. But it takes time to build that relationship in a way that's, you know, we feel comfortable opening the doors for somebody.
that's right. That's right. And I also think that, having 100 connections on LinkedIn is probably better than having 500 followers on Instagram, or TikTok, because LinkedIn connections, they just have more essence and power. And also, people are very positive. They're always willing to help you because they know they're on that platform to try and get a job or, entrepreneurship. And they're always trying to help advocate for people. So they resonate with you as you resonate with them. So finding like a lot of connections on LinkedIn throughout this journey of mine has been amazing. And I know now, like if I were to, God forbid, ever get laid off or have to find another job, I know with the connections or the amount of followers now that I have on LinkedIn that I've been able to build, um, it wouldn't be as hard. And that's just because I branded myself in a way, but I also stuck with the plan in terms of being a voice for people, being a voice. So
And that's something that shows through on your content. And who would not want to hire somebody with those qualities? Yeah, we know you can do the Scrum Master stuff, right? But your mission that you put out there every single day, why would somebody not want to hire that? But if you kept that to yourself, right, and you didn't
yeah,
post it, then
yeah,
people
exactly.
wouldn't know who you are.
Yeah, and it's crazy because my boss now he found me through LinkedIn with from a post, and it was because he saw how positive I was with everything that I was doing. He really wanted to see if it was real. So he was the first person that interviewed me, and from there he sent me on to like three other interviews, and I'm very grateful for him. I'm just very grateful to be able to take the path on LinkedIn because I remember I literally deleted my Instagram and that had like 100 something thousand followers on Instagram. I deleted that and made LinkedIn that same day. And I was kind of like, why am I doing this? But I kind of had a heart to heart with myself and told myself this is the right direction. And everything panned out and worked out for itself.
Yeah. So bringing up TikTok and
Yeah,
um, Instagram, before I jumped onto LinkedIn 2 years ago, I had been off social media for 2 years. I got rid of my Facebook. I got rid of my Instagram because I felt like it was messing with me.
right.
Um, And I never had necessarily any problems with people, but I know that we've talked about bullying.
Yeah, yeah.
And like I've talked about the Agile police, and I'm very like open about it. Like I struggle with that sometimes, and I've gotten better with it. But in our conversation, you were talking about the downside of social media, which is being bullied.
Yeah.
So can you share with us a little bit about that and what keeps you going despite that happened?
Yeah, so social media can be very consuming, for different reasons. People look at the numbers, people look at, what other people say online. And for me, I had to be very, very balanced with people's opinions. Never take people's opinions too seriously, whether it's good or bad, because that's when you kind of like you can lose yourself with that. And I know when I was getting on TikTok as I was growing, I had to. It was just very, very, very dwelling on me a little bit because I was advocating for people with special needs, mental health, domestic violence, trafficking, all sorts of situations. So especially people with special needs, I was advocating for them and I was being a voice for them, posting like 15, 30-minute videos. And there was one person specifically that she was forced into marriage. She was actually shot in the eye, abused. And I remember advocating for her a lot. And when she reached out to me, that was like the moment when I realized, okay, I'm really doing this for purpose. To be able to see that your voice can impact other people into going into the right direction to keep making them go forward instead of going backwards. Because she was literally about to give up on herself and actually like take her own life. And there's a lot of people that I've been able to come across that I've helped them, come out of that space. And because you never really know what someone's going through, you never know. People can put up the best smile, the best mask, but if you're able to really empathize with people, you're going to be that much better of a person, but that much more understanding to always be kind to people. I think being kind is almost, I wouldn't say a skill, but it's something that needs to be brought out into workspaces, family, friends, everywhere. So just being able to bring that light and joy into the world, I think it's made my job more fulfilling.
And I remember you telling me that story. I'm like, that is incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't say that I've had experiences like that. I know I've helped people. People have, shared things with me. And it's like, unless you get to know people and talk to them about their story, you never
Yeah.
know that you've helped them, right? Because this is like an invisible platform. But
Right.
that's an amazing story. So when stuff like that happens, that makes it all worth it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's why I also like if I was a CEO or a boss and I'm hiring someone, I know you guys are probably seeing this on LinkedIn, but it's so true. Higher attitude, you can train skill, because it's so imperative. You can have the best person that's like he's great, he or she is great at that skill or that job, but they have a terrible attitude, and that can just suck the life out of your team, the company itself. But if you have someone that has a great attitude and they don't know as much as that person that's skilled, you could always teach that. And I think everyone right now that's a Scrum Master or trying to get a Scrum job, and you may not know as much as someone else that has more experience as a Scrum Master, your attitude is so vital and imperative. And I think if you keep going and just trying to find, just keep applying, but also build the connection space, you will find that boss or that hiring manager that will give you an opportunity based off of your attitude alone. I think I know that's what happened with me when I first started, and I know that's going to happen with you. So it's really just about persevering.
Yeah. And what do you tell those folks that are coming from a non-technical background?
Yeah, because even me, I initially don't have a technical background. I know more technical things now just because I've been in the space for a while. But if you don't have a technical background, it's really just about learning every single day, consuming as much, soaking up like a sponge. So I always say the world is our university, so always wake up ready to learn. There's so much out there that we can learn, take in from, especially with as a Scrum Master. So always wake up ready to learn. Always listen to your teammates, your hiring manager, your boss, because you can pick up on things so quickly. And of course, you're going to have different obstacles every single day, but making mistakes is better than faking perfection. So making mistakes is better than faking perfection. And I always say that is important because there's a lot of people that will fake like they know it, but it catches up with them in the long run. So always be willing to learn. And even if you make a mistake, fall 10 times, get back up 11. So yeah.
Yes. I mean, I've had, well, first of all, I'm smiling because I wrote that down. The world is our university. Always wake up ready to learn. I'm going to put that on a quote on a graphic. I'm going to put that up on LinkedIn.
Absolutely.
And of course, attribute it to you. Because obviously publicly, like you said it, right? But with that being said, you know, I think it is challenging to be non-technical. I mean, you know that I also come from a non-technical background, and
Right.
For me, it's much more difficult to learn the people skills and the relationship building skills and the leadership skills. I can learn technical things. I can learn the knowledge. I can study software development. I can take basic coding courses. But it's all this other relational stuff. That's the more difficult stuff. And that's the stuff that we need to hire for.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
essential.
I mean, essentially, like a Scrum Master, you and I both know this is like a mom and dad babysitter, right? So, you know, you got to sometimes hold their hand sometimes until they're able to crawl or walk for that agile space. So it's a learning process, but you enjoy the process every single day. And that's what I've been able to do, and I love it.
I'm so glad you're here.
Likewise, I appreciate it.
I love to hear your story. No, because, you know, initially, and when I say initially, I mean, this has obviously only been within the past few years, I was very ashamed of my non-technical background. I felt it hurt me. And that was something that I had to overcome internally because I have so much more that I've brought to the table.
Right.
And that's just as valuable.
Yeah.
You can learn the knowledge.
Yeah, I always tell people, don't look at what you don't have, look at what you have and build off of that. Because what you have, someone else may not have. So, but you as a Scrum Master, or anyone else here that's a Scrum Master or aspiring to be a Scrum Master, look at the qualities or traits that you do have, like internally, and tell yourself, can I make my team better? Can I make someone else better around me? And if you can, that's something that other people will want. And yeah, you capitalize off of that. And that's what I always tell myself, being a non-technical person. And it's helped my job become a lot easier. And people around me, they love what I bring to the table.
Talk to me about being a keynote speaker. How did you get into that? And what are the things that you speak about to your audiences?
Yeah, definitely. I got into that because of my social media at the time. I used to get bullied a lot on social media from, you know, I used to make like a lot of comedic videos and I would get like a lot of harsh comments a lot. And this is when I was going viral a lot on Instagram. I had like Rihanna and Ariana Grande like post me, but I would get like a lot of hate. This was like way back in like 2018. But yeah, so I kind of resonated with other people that, you know, looked differently or got judged. And I took that and just ran with it. And it's made me, like I said, a more understanding person overall. Nowadays, I almost like, if I ever even come to the idea like I'm gonna judge something, I just like snap out of it just like that. And yeah, like I speak about anti-bullying, I speak about, you know, depression, I speak about, you know, really how you're doing mentally. So you get to see like a lot of kids nowadays, they are dealing with stuff mentally because they're so consumed with social media. They see something on social media and they compare themselves to that. And being able to get yourself in a space where you're comfortable with yourself, it's almost like you have to be able to date yourself. If you're, because I always tell people, certain people, they're so used to dating other people, they've never really dated themselves. And for me personally, I've dated myself so well that I know who I am. And if you're able to know who you are, it wouldn't matter who you're looking at, what you're thinking about, you're able to be comfortable with yourself. So I try and voice that out to other people, whether they're young or old.
Yeah. And I remember you talking to me about that, dating yourself. I'm like, huh, that's interesting.
Yeah, definitely. It
Getting
puts
to know who you are.
Yeah, it puts you in a great space. And you won't be so worried about the outside world. You'll be more worried about yourself internally. And when you're comfortable with yourself internally, your spirit and your yourself as a person will just be like a big light. So
Yeah.
yeah.
It reminds me when I was, teaching and very diligently practicing yoga, like the physical practice,
Yeah.
where, when you first get started with that practice, you come into a class for the first time and all you are is looking around at everybody like, what am I supposed to be doing? I'm not good enough. And this is where you start to hear you realize those voices in your head.
Yeah.
And you start to realize you're your own limiter.
That's right.
Like I wasn't trying poses because I didn't think I could do it.
Right.
And I had to become aware of that. And then I started trying it. It's incremental, right?
Yeah.
Flexibility is incremental. But then when I started teaching yoga, I could see the people, I could tell they were new. Like I didn't, all these people would show up in my class and I could tell who was new because they were all looking around. And at some point you have to learn how to shut that off and focus on yourself and on your mat, because that's where the growth happens. And
Absolutely.
I think the key is, can you still continue to come back, or are you going to run away from that?
Yeah.
And that's some of the challenge with people, coming to yoga for 1 or 2 classes, or even the gym, for example, lifting
Yeah.
weights. After a few sessions, their mind gets the best of them and they make excuses and don't come back. But it's really, you're fighting your own internal demons.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And that's I could even piggyback off of that with, are you going to come back after you get that unfortunately email? Are you going to come back after you get that rejection from that interview or from that company? It's always being persistent, always consistency, and how much effort you put. It may take weeks, it may take months, but how bad do you really want it? And some people, they've been in this journey for a long time, and just trying to find a job. And I know it's exhausting, it's draining, like it's very stressful. But I always tell people, like, the right job will be there for you. It's just a matter of how much you're willing to, keep going along the journey. And there's 2 paths. Some people, they'll go left and they'll, end up just trying to do something else or give up. Some people will go right. That right may be a longer road, but they'll get to the destination. So it's, like I said, be persistent.
Yeah, it's amazing. That's probably like, again, many years ago, I'm honest, like I was ashamed that I didn't have this technical experience, but I'm like, but look at all the other things that I can bring to the table. And one of them is yoga. And it's not necessarily a physical practice at this point. It's internal.
Right, exactly.
And it is when I have to deal with the Agile police, right? The Scrum police that show up and comment on my posts, right? It's taught me to take a step back and not make this mean something that it's not.
Right.
Have empathy for the person. Maybe they didn't mean it that way, but I took it that way because it's electronic.
Yeah.
Very little upsets me anymore.
Yeah.
But when it does, what can I learn from it?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I've learned to not overreact or react too soon. I think being poised is very essential as a Scrum Master. I think when you're poised, you'll then be able to like take a deep breath and step back and understand, okay, how can I really assess this? How can I really, either fix this or make the situation better? So I think that's something that I've grown as a Scrum Master over time.
What was that, Adam? The Scrum police are here to help you. Indirectly, right?
Yeah.
They're there to help you learn about yourself.
Right.
They're also there to help you learn what not to do. But yes, great point, Adam. Anything else you want to share before we open up to questions?
I mean, I really want to hear from everyone here because, I know everyone has a different journey, and just being able to get insight and get as much clarity or advice give advice from you guys would be important. And, I know you guys are here, and it's I appreciate you guys being here. So yeah, we can definitely help.
Yeah. All right. Let's open it up for questions. Put your hand up and we'll call on you. Sweta?
Hi. So I've been following Ify from so long time, and thank you so much for giving hope. So basically, I'm Shweta. I'm from UK. So I was in a different country. I was working as a business development manager. Unfortunately, I had a career break because of personal reasons, because of my pregnancy and everything. So now I've recently moved to UK, and I find this the career gap. It's a huge hurdle for starting my career as a Scrum Master. And I know it's very difficult to start a career as a Scrum Master because so many people are looking for experience. But
Yeah.
if you have a career gap, it's more worse. And it's so disheartening. I have CSM, but I know it's just a first step in the process. Like my question is, how do you convince somebody that you are really passionate about the Scrum field, but you're not actually looking for a job? So like I genuinely want to, you know, be a Scrum Master who can make a difference. But you get it right, what I'm
Yeah,
trying to say?
yeah, definitely. And I think this is a situation that a lot of people are, facing. And key for me when I first started on LinkedIn, I was trying to find my next position because it was so hard, like so hard. I literally would get on LinkedIn, I would type in Scrum Master, then I would go to the People's tab, and I would find everyone that's a Scrum Master at that company. I would then connect with them and build like a some type of conversation to see, okay, do they even have openings at this company? Because I knew like going through the application process would be ridiculously like long. Plus, everyone else is applying to. It's almost like a competition. So I wanted to do something that was, I guess, more strategic. So I would just connect with people that were Scrum Masters and see they had openings. Also, like it's really what you know, but also who you know nowadays. So connecting that way. Also, using LinkedIn as your like navigation. So posting that you're looking for a job, but telling your story with that. I think it's very, very important as a Scrum Master, anyone in general, to share your story on LinkedIn because people are willing to help you. Like one like, that like can then turn into 30, then can turn into 100, then can turn into 1,000 based off of how much impactful your story is. So utilizing LinkedIn, utilizing connecting with other people that are Scrum Masters is important. And that's what helped me in the beginning too. I actually got like a couple interviews because I did it that way, because I just reached out to people and they did say they had openings. So it was just being assertive, strategic with that. And I think that should help you. But I also do help, I also do help people that, like if they have if they're looking for a Scrum job, I'll sometimes like or share it because I know my my like or engagement also helps other people's like posts like get up there. So it helps.
Yeah. Actually, that's a great idea. I've never thought of posting on the social media. Yeah, I will give it a try for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. It's about it's a long game, right? And it's about building relationships with people.
Yeah.
And helping them get to know you and you know them. And then over time, that turns into trust. And then that person might open a door for you.
Yeah.
It is a long game. That's why you got to start early. But it works.
Yeah, it definitely is. Shout out to Sarah and Sherry on here because I know when I was looking for my next job, I was having conversations with them, and I'm glad that I think we're all like in Scrum Masters now, so it's beautiful to see. It's a process, but the ending is beautiful. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Michelle. Let's go with you. Your hand is up.
Hi, everyone. My name is Michelle. I'm in the Atlanta area. I do have a question. It's interesting. So many educators on the call. I was a former educator. I taught science for about 8 years. And since about 2014 to presently, I started working in clinical research industry. So it's more of a project management end. We manage the projects for your big sponsor companies like Pfizer, Moderna, those type things. So my background with teaching and my clinical research currently, it's more of the project management realm, but I'm trying to go into the Scrum role. So how difficult do you think it'll be transitioning? And I want to just know a little bit about you guys, how you tailored your resume. Was it adding transferable skills from, like, let's say education or what industry you were in, or was it like blatant, proctored tests, or would I use word that in a transferable way to that Scrum role?
I was going to say you should connect with Sarah, and I'm going to call I'm going to call you out, Sarah. I hope you're still here, but you should connect with her, Sarah Hightower. She introduced herself at the very beginning of the call, and she recently had to go through all this. So I don't know, Sarah,
Sarah's
you here?
Scrum? Sarah, yeah.
I'm here. I was just
Okay.
gonna get my LinkedIn link and send it in the.
Yeah, Sarah's great.
This is
You're currently working in a Scrum role now, Sarah?
Yeah, I'm a
Oh,
Scrum Master.
perfect. Coming from education.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
like
perfect.
last year.
Yeah, I was an elementary teacher for 17 years.
Oh, nice. Definitely. Please put your information.
I love this community. All right.
Yeah.
So you folks can connect offline and have a chat. Anthony, great to see your face. You were
What's
here
up,
2 weeks
beautiful
ago.
people?
And of course, I talk to you all the time. What's your question?
So, Ify, I'm a huge fan.
Anthony, my God.
Yes, I subscribe to your way of living, your way of thinking. I always appreciate your mindset. But I was curious, what is your why? What is it that what is it that gets you up in the morning?
Question.
That's a great question. So I would say my why is just literally just one word: people. And that's because I have such a huge heart for people in terms of their struggle, like what they go through, because I know that my pain isn't anywhere, like, I've gone through a lot, but I know there's other people that have gone through way worse. So I always wake up every single day and tell myself, okay, why am I doing this? Because other people are going through worse situations. You never know why they're going through the situation, but you want to be the why. You want to have a why to why you're doing it. So people in general, like, people come from different stories, different backgrounds, and you want to be able to help them in even if it's just a little way. And you never really know who you're helping or who you can really touch until it actually happens. But I always tell myself I never even want to take accolades or credit. Even if I wake up one day and I've been advocating for this person or advocating for so many people, I wake up, I open up LinkedIn, and I see, okay, this person just got hired. I just smile and then move on. I don't want to receive any credit or anything like that. Some people will, message me and be like, thank you so much for this and that. But at the end of the day, it's just people. Like, people are beautiful, and just being able to see them grow and get a job or, get that promotion, anything, it's an amazing feeling. So yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.
No problem. Thank you so much.
And, one of the things that I immediately noticed about you, Ify, when we first chatted, was how humble you are. Because again, you think of people out there that have 1 million like TikTok followers and they're this like big celebrity. And then I talk to you and I'm like, you're so humble and so gracious. And you don't want the accolades.
Yeah. I mean, I know what can be given to you can be taken away from you just like that. And
Yep.
I think there's people that, that can try to be humble, and there's people that are just humble. So that's just who I was, how I've been instilled. And I'm very grateful.
All right, let's do one more question. Chased.
Yeah. It's nice to be here. Well done, Patty, on what you're doing. I'm glad to be meeting other Scrum Master on the call. I'm proudly Nigeria. I live in OKC. I've been following Ifeyani since when he got the first job, when he announced it online. I still have a voice note of his inspiration, of hope, but Ifeyani, I'm still stuck. And I know you've been so busy with a lot of people reaching out to you for help, and I'm sure you've not read my last message is August 28th of 2022, and that's how good, I would say, for the positive sense. But I really want you to look into it. Like you said, a lot of people has aspired. I have been posting daily, as you have said, on LinkedIn. I've grown my numbers, but truly I've not been getting the recruiters, and I've also not been getting the kind of accolade. I've done several tech preps, boot camps, but truly, I really need all the help that I can get in at least seeing how much more to optimize my LinkedIn, which I've done severally, if you check again. But I would encourage the rest of us on this call and plead with Patty to set up like a Slack channel. We can all share resources. We can all talk about our journey in getting those jobs or applications that we need to complete. And truly, I believe that we can all work together. And please, if I check your LinkedIn again and reach out. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll definitely check again. Just message me right now and I'll check it. And sorry about that. Yeah, it can get exhausting and overwhelming with the amount of messages.
It gets buried, right? It's very, it happens to me too.
Yeah. So.
Well, all right. As I've said before, tell us where we can find you, but we know this already. So do you have any, obviously we'll all connect with you on LinkedIn. We'll reach out to you there. Do you have any parting words for us before we sign off?
Yeah, I mean, I know how hard it is right now for, a lot of you guys trying to look for a job, and it's almost like you guys feel defeated. And it's not for the weak, I'll tell you that, right? But everything great, takes time. Because honestly, if everyone had this Scrum job, then it probably wouldn't be the pay probably wouldn't be where you guys actually want it to be. And the type of opportunity with this job wouldn't be exactly what you want. So it just takes time. Patience is a virtue, and that virtue will come to you guys. Just stick with it, and something will come. Just reach out to me too also, because I do love to help you guys in any way, shape, or form. And yeah, I'll connect with you guys back. So I appreciate you guys, honestly, for even listening today. Thank you guys so much.
All right. Thank you so much for coming. As
Absolutely.
always, I'm like always so excited to have my guests on. And I find that I'm trying to like slow down asking people, right? Because I don't want to get too far ahead. But one of my concerns with making this like 100% fireside chat, I'm like, am I going to run out of people? The answer is no, because like I have a whole line of people ready, and I have more people that I want to invite. So I've just met so many amazing people, and of course you're one of them. So I'm so thankful that you were able to come today. And then we'll see everybody in 2 weeks. And we'll have another conversation.
Definitely. Thank you, Patty. You're the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. This recording will be cleaned up and sent out to everybody early next week. So reach out if you have any questions. But I hope everybody has a great rest of your Tuesday or Wednesday if you're Tom.
Thank you, Ify.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.